This past Thursday was a Massachusetts state primary. Due to a low number of contested races, participation was low, but that is expected to change on November 8th when the state and federal election will be held. During that election, voters will cast ballots for presidential candidates, including former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and businessman Donald Trump, among other third-party candidates. Locally, residents will have a choice between incumbent Democratic State Rep Ken Gordon or Republican challenger Paul Gerard for the 21st Middlesex District seat.
November 8th, actually, one of the interesting things is we're going to have some new regulations about how and when you can vote. But I think November 8th, I'm looking, 4 years ago we had about 85% turnout. I'm looking for a high turnout again. So it'll definitely be a lot more busy, a lot more action, and a lot more activity.
In Burlington, voters can cast ballots at the polls on November 8th in the Burlington High School Gymnasium between the hours of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. As they could in the past, they will also be able to obtain absentee ballots in the town clerk's office and town hall. However, for the first time ever, there is a third way for people to cast their ballots and avoid waiting in line at the polls at the same time.
The third way is new this year. Our legislature has passed a law that it will allow for early voting. What early voting is the ability to be able to come in at some set periods of time and vote just like they would vote on November 8th. Their ballot will be received in. It will not be tabulated, but we will keep a count. And then those ballots are all brought here on November 8th, just like the absentee ballots are, and they're fed into the machines by the election workers.
So when can residents cast early ballots?
Our early voting hours are going to be Monday, October 24th and October 31st from 8:30 to 4:30. On the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of those 2 weeks, it's going to be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on the Friday of that week, it's going to be from 8:30 to 1. And so they'll be able to come in anytime, get a ballot, and vote it, and then they'll be done and ready for the election on November 8th.
As with all state elections, there will be ballot questions voters can weigh in on. These, if passed, often result in immediate changes to state law and can have far-reaching impact. It is important to study them thoroughly, not only because they carry such weight, but because sometimes the wording can be confusing.
There are going to be a number of ballot questions. Since the ballot isn't set yet, I'm not quite sure of all of them, but I know that there's going to be the one on charter schools. There may be one on marijuana, medical marijuana use. And so what's going to happen is probably about a month and a half before the election, everyone will get that gray and red booklet in their mail. That will go through all of the ballot questions. And one of the things that I always challenge people with is to make sure that they really totally read it, because sometimes the wording you may be voting for the affirmative that is a negative. And so make sure you read through those books. But those will be available also in the clerk's office. We will also have some here the day of the election if people haven't had a chance to read through them yet.
And anyone who hasn't registered to vote yet, there is still time.
They can register to vote up until October 19th. And so anyone can come into the office. They can actually also go online right now. If you go to the Secretary of State's website and you have a valid Massachusetts driver's license, you can register online. We get those notifications in our office, and then they'll be on the voter list and ready to vote on November 8th.
At the polls here in Burlington, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.